Hello everybody, welcome back to YouTube Money. Breaking news, but before we get started, come over here to the subscribe button, hit that bell icon, hit all, so that way you won't miss a single video. Let's get started. Breaking news, breaking news. Everybody is panic selling their BGS slabs. It's over. The hobby is doomed. Grading has lost all credibility. Sell all your PSA slabs, your BGS slabs. The market is completely corrupt. There's no credibility in this space, is what an irrational person would say. As you all have heard, Beckett was acquired by PSA's parent company. We made a little bit of a summary of it in the last video, but let's dive deeper in what's going on. Everybody is panic selling their BGS slabs. So let me tell you what I picked up. Alright, here we go. I picked up this beautiful roaring moon that upon closer inspection in the photos, I have no understanding why this got a 9, but I guess maybe it could be the centering. But here's my plan. Pick up BGS slabs for super cheap. Yes, I picked this up for, believe it or not, around or below raw. I don't think there's a single item I purchased that was above raw price, which is actually insane. A lot of cards below raw price in a 9.5. Hell, I'll keep that slabbed. I'll take a 9.5 from Beckett. Everybody knows that's pretty much a PSA 10 anyways, but everybody wants to see the 10. So that's the difference. Everybody wants to see the 10. So my other strategy is, if grades of BGS get somehow removed or they merge with PSA and there's more bad news, whatever happens, my strategy also is to regrade this with PSA, or maybe just keep them raw. I got them below raw prices. Let me show you what else I picked up. Here we go. We got a 151 Ultra Premium Collection, also a 9. Looks to me like a 10, not gonna lie. The centering, the surface is great. It's just something was off about the corners. But for now, I'm probably gonna keep it in the BGS 9 slab to see how things go. Hey, maybe even we get the reverse effect and BGS becomes even more of a premium. PSA actually comes out and says, oh, we're actually adopting BGS and taking all the expertise from BGS grading because of their higher standards. Up is the 151 SIR Venusaur 9.5. This is essentially a PSA 10. The centering might be a little bit off. A 9.5 is not too bad to pick up at close to raw price. You know, the grading fee itself is $20 a card. To me also, in some situations for cards that I really like, a slab is the ultimate protection, regardless of the grade. So a lot of vintage stuff that I have that I picked up for cheap because I'm willing to take it in a lower grade. I know those are less liquid, but again, it's about the collection. And when it comes time to sell, I could always crack it out of the slab. With the slab, also picked up a Sylveon from the Chinese Gem Pack. Beautiful looking card, CGC 10. The card looks beautiful in the pictures. I may cross grade this to PSA. But here's the thing, if other people are thinking similar to me, we might get even more of an influx of grades with PSA, and they're gonna increase prices because of the demand, and then people are gonna come out and say, see, I told you they would raise prices, but they're raising prices because of the demand. Something to think about. There's a lot of cross-grading opportunities here because these alternative grading companies are selling for cheap, in my opinion. Another pickup, the Crown Zenith Galarian Gallery Mewtwo V-Star. Let me tell you something, my friend. This card earlier this year, sold it when it rose. I regretted it because I love the card. And here we go. I'm back in it with a BGS 9.5, which I will probably cross-grade to a PSA 10 when I get the chance. And I essentially have my PSA 10 again for less than raw value or around raw value. It's insane the opportunities that you can find in the market if you just look. All right, next up, the Paradox Rift Altaria. I sold a raw version of this card earlier this month for around 40 bucks. The market is around 45 right now. I picked this up for half of that. I guess maybe because it's a BGS 9. I'll just crack this out. I think I might keep this card because it's a cool card. That's why I bought it again. But anyways, you can't hoard, folks. You gotta make moves. You gotta make moves. Hoarding is the bad behavior. People think hodling. They tell you to hodl, hodl, hodl. That hodling is for people who don't understand what's going on. Constantly moving slabs. Because here's the thing. You may sell this card today. You may pick it up again in the future for a lower price. Or you may be making a flip on it in the future when it's a higher price, but it's a more elevated time in the market. So there's a lot of things to be considered here. Scared money don't make no money. Go out there, have fun, make trades with people, make sales with people. This is the whole point of the hobby. Don't listen to the haters. Don't listen to the people that have no idea what they're talking about. The doom and gloomers. The market is all facts on the chart, and we're losing momentum in the market. So let's see where that goes. If it continues to go down, there'll be even more opportunities. All right, next up is the Pikachu from the Galarian Gallery. I also just sold a raw version of this card for a little bit above market, which is fantastic. And here I am. Now I have it protected in the slab, BGS 9.5. I could probably cross-grade it to a PSA 10, and I got it for below raw value, which is insane. All right. One of my favorite. I love this card. Look at this stance. That is a beast stance. That is a fire stance. This card and the Dragonite version of this art style are fantastic. This is a PSA 9. I mean, a BGS 9. The centering, it's a little bit top heavy, so this won't be a regrade. This will probably stay in the slab. It's a nice looking card, and I'll probably sell it at a later time if raw pumps up. We'll see what happens with BGS, honestly. But another great card, great pickup. Next up, this one is my favorite. You will not believe the insane price that I got this at. Again, 8.5, but it's a BGS 8.5. And we know that their grading is stricter. So looking at the photos, it looks pretty good. I think this card, if I cross-grade it, I can get a 9. But at this point, I don't even want to risk that. My whole point was to pick up this card. Maybe at some point speak to a professional card restorer and see if there's some of the whitening can be restored. But this one I wouldn't crack to just get a 9 from PSA. This one's just a long-term hold that I'll just display in my collection. Not about the number here, it's about the character here, okay? Different mentality, different mentality. All right, next up. Also, for an insane price, this one I got half of what the raw value is, which is insane. But this is a stamped Burger King Pokemon Platinum Pikachu. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Stamped, fantastic Pikachu art. He's sitting in like a Windows XP background. I don't know what's going on there, but it's fantastic. Fantastic. I don't know how I was able to snag this, but it's a beautiful promo. 2009, platinum stamped, reverse hollow. This is the time to make those moves. This is the time to make those moves, people. All right, and finally, last but not least, for below raw value, the Chilling Reign Galarian Moltres V. Let me tell you something. This card looks perfect. I don't know how it got a 9. It should have gotten a 9.5. This one I will definitely be cross-grading because right now in a PSA 10, I think it gets like $300. I can see this going for $500. Look at this artwork. This is fantastic, man. This is something I could see at a museum. People are just not seeing the vision here is that they've elevated this art to the point where, for example, the Van Gogh Pikachu speaks for itself. That is a beautiful card. I really wish I was in the market when they were handing out those promos, because that I would have tried to get as many as possible. That's a beautiful card. I would buy as many of that card as possible. Van Gogh, in a Pikachu in Van Gogh style, it went from 500 raw to like 300, 200 raw right now. Like, you can pick it up for cheap. There's a high population, yeah, but this is an example of a card where high population doesn't matter. But as always, thank you for watching. Intelligence over instinct, created to think, not to react. See you in the next one.